Hey everyone, this week I'm breaking down my max speed protocol, what I'm doing before, during, and after my max speed workouts to get the most out of these really important sessions throughout the week. First things first, I just want to talk about why we even stress our max speed so much. And if you run track and field, it's very obvious, the fastest person wins. But if you're looking at a field sport, it's important to remember that max speed affects a lot of other traits. So things like your acceleration, your speed endurance, and your repeat sprint ability are all affected by your max speed. If you can run 24 miles an hour one time, it makes it a lot easier to run 21 miles over and over and over. But if you can only run 21 miles an hour as your max speed, it's much harder to do that several times in a row. So if you're a soccer player, even if you don't have the chance to get all the way up to your max speed, it can still have a really good impact on your sub-maximal efforts as well. And the reason I stress this protocol so much is that you have to have a very high level of output in these sessions to get anything out of them. And these sessions, in my opinion, should start the night before. You should be eating a very nutrient-dense meal that's going to get you ready. You should be getting plenty of sleep. You should be hydrating. You have to take care of all of those things before you even get to the track, before you even get to the field to do your flying sprints. Tip number one, whatever you eat before your workout should be quick, easy to digest, and mostly carbohydrates. A spoonful of honey with a little bit of salt, that and a glass of water, and then I'll go right to my session. It's quick, it's light, it doesn't weigh me down, and I still feel really energetic when I get to the track. And that feeling of being energized, even if it's not more effective than, say, eating a banana, having those carbs and electrolytes is really important, but so is the feeling of being energized. And so if you find something that you find gives you a very good feeling, whether that's, some people really like pre-workout, it's not for me, but if you have something that gives you the feeling of being ready to output a lot of force, that can be a huge benefit to your session. The next thing we're going to talk about is how you set up your max velocity days, how you work on your max speed during the workout. Our goal is to maximize the time we spend at our top speed. To make this workout as specific as possible to max speed, we try and take away everything else. What this means is reducing the rep distance. We don't want to be running super far. As you get later in the season, you might try and extend the length of your top speed by a little bit more to really push things. Ideal rep length will be something like 30 to 40 meter fly in, depending on your ability, and then a 10 to 20 meter fly. Very rarely will you get over 60 meters for max speed. And obviously you need to give yourself room to decelerate at the end to slow down safely. You don't want to hit 60 meters and have a brick wall in front of you, but you shouldn't be pushing past 60 meters. The other thing we want to take away is our acceleration. Now, obviously, if you want to hit max speed, you have to accelerate to get there. So you can't completely get rid of acceleration, but what we want to do is not accelerate from a dead stop. So we have a number of different ways we can get into our acceleration that save us energy. And there are a few ways you can bring momentum into your acceleration. Things like a falling start, a skipping start, or even a walking start where you run into it. Those are all really effective for saving energy by not having to start from a dead stop and push as hard as you can. The last thing we're going to talk about is the recovery after the workout. And if you're even remotely familiar with bodybuilding and that kind of side of the fitness industry, you'll know that everyone talks about eating enough protein, eating enough carbs, making sure that you're eating the right things, sleeping enough, getting enough hydration. Those are all really important. The biggest thing we have to think about is what is being taxed when we work on our max speed. What is being challenged during that workout? Things like your muscles and tendons are being challenged to some degree. So you want to be eating lots of protein and lots of carbs. That's really important. But the number one thing you need to do after the workout is get a good night's sleep that night. The number one thing that is taxed in a max speed session is your nervous system. And here's my tip for recovery. Just give yourself an extra 30 minutes to be in bed before you're supposed to go to sleep. A lot of people don't get good sleep because they just don't sleep long enough. They don't give themselves the adequate time to fall asleep. If you can't fall asleep like that, obviously there are a lot of things you can do to increase your quality of sleep, making it dark, staying off your phone. Those things are all good and fine. So if you have to wake up at 7 o'clock, don't go to sleep at 11. Try and go to sleep at 10:30, but just give yourself the time to get adequate sleep. Give yourself the opportunity to wake up in the middle of the night and still get an adequate amount of rest. So there you have it. Those are my tips. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next week.